From race icons like Team Hoyt to all of the nonprofit runners, they help shape the Boston Marathon. And John Hancock is there to lend them support.
This is a very special year for the Hoyts and for John Hancock. So for us, it's our 150th anniversary. For Team Hoyt, they will run their 30th Boston Marathon. Rick will turn 50. And to honor those events, we've dedicated a statue that we will place at the starting line that will be there for all time to show Dick and Rick in motion running the race. And it will be a lasting gift from us to the community. When we think about legacies, the Boston Marathon now is much bigger than Boston. It has a worldwide presence. And for us at John Hancock, we too, after 150 years now, have a worldwide presence. And so when you look at the legacy of the Hoyts and the Boston Marathon and John Hancock, we're intertwined. The sponsorship of Team Hoyt benefits the community in many ways. First of all, they're incredibly committed to Easter Seals and Children's Hospital. A lot of money is raised, a lot of awareness is raised. Team Hoyt's an inspiration as their message of yes you can connects with many and is consistent with our core values as a company.
And year after year, there's only one place to turn for full coverage of the Hoyts and the race itself.
If you're from this area, you know WBZ, and you have a trust with the way WBZ tells a story. All eyes are on Boston. WBZ's coverage, they just get it. They're able to find representative stories that appeal and are engaging in the lead up, but also in the follow through. No one's able to give the kind of extensive, live, wire-to-wire coverage that WBZ does. Every year, in terms of on-site media representation, we're actually second only to the Super Bowl in terms of credentialed media on site. We have more than 225 outlets from all over the world, and that encompasses approximately more than 1,000 media representatives. We have 100,000 people who are tracking runners throughout the day. So technology is very much at the forefront of the Boston Marathon as well.
From how people watch the race to why people run it.
My son Maximus was born with Down syndrome February 2004, and he'll be 7, and he's my pride and joy. I got notified that the Mass Down Syndrome Congress had a number to run for them, so I knew it was time. The turn onto Boylston Street overwhelmed me because of the crowds and the noise, and I could see the finish, so I really got excited. And I knew I was grabbing Maximus at the corner. I got him, and I crossed the finish line, and I couldn't believe it. Do we go? Yes! Nonprofit runners are an important part of the marathon because they bring an ordinary person's involvement into the marathon. So it's great that you know you're running for something that you're so passionate about.
So many organizations benefit from the passion and drive nonprofit runners bring to the race.
Boston Athletic Association has an official charity program in which over 30 organizations raise money under the umbrella of the BAA official charity program. John Hancock has a separate program, one that we call the John Hancock Nonprofit Program, in which we'll have over 120 organizations having runners run and raise money. It's part of the 2012 Boston Marathon. Over the last 26 years, the Boston Athletic Association official charity program and the John Hancock Nonprofit Program have raised over $150 million for local organizations. Last year alone, through the two programs, over $16 million was raised for organizations operating in the Boston region. A truly amazing program that has far-reaching impact, not just on race day, but in the weeks and months leading up to it.
For just about every runner, support leading up to the marathon is crucial.
Everybody thinks that running is an individual sport, but it really isn't an individual sport. What it is, it's a sport where other people with like-minded interests come together. I could never go out for a 20-mile training run by myself. I need to have some support with me. And by belonging to a running club, and there's 2,000 running clubs across the nation that are actually belong to USATF. So all across the nation, all of these people in these running clubs are working together on whatever goals they set. And one of the biggest goals every runner in the entire world sets is to make it to the starting line of the Boston Marathon. It's nice to share goals, but it's also nice to acknowledge how much hard work goes into really preparing yourself to run a race. And doing that with your running group or with some close friends really builds that community. It's a great relationship.
A great experience, especially for this couple.
In my opinion, Boston is the epitome of marathon racing. It's just an atmosphere I've yet to experience really again, and before I didn't either. Just having so many people out there yelling and cheering and encouraging you is great.
And just the history of the whole event itself.
And this is one marathon they'll never forget.
And I remember running down last main stretch, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're almost done with this. I grabbed him and then he turned me around and got down on one knee.
It was a lot of symbolism, I think, because it meant the perfect end to a race that was pretty difficult at times and finishing together.
This marathon is special in many ways.
The Boston Marathon, at the very least, is the world's oldest continuously contested marathon. It's the other thing that sets it apart from most other marathons is it's the only marathon in the world, outside of the Olympic Games or the World Championships, for which one needs to qualify. The Boston Marathon is the smallest of the 5 world marathon majors.
And it's getting even more competitive.
What we have done for registration for the 2013 Boston Marathon is reduce by 5 minutes the qualifying time for each age and gender category. We don't have just one qualifying time. We instituted a new process this year such that the very fastest people could register first, then the next fastest, then the next fastest, and then everybody who met the qualifying standards. What I think we'll see is, first, that more people will take up the challenge. They will see that hung out there in front of them, work harder, run faster. It's the nature of the people who come and do this.
And it's in the nature of the fans to push runners when they need it.
The fans along the Boston Marathon course are the greatest fans at any race I've ever been to in my life. People you don't know that are out there cheering you on and supporting you, and that's what helps you get to the finish line. Crossing the finish line is like the best feeling in the world because you put so much time and effort into the training, and there are so many ups and downs from January to April, and finishing is just such a great feeling for me personally. It's just a great accomplishment of all the hard work I put in.
John Hancock has given runners and fans a lot to cheer about over the years. To learn more about their landmark sponsorship of the Boston Marathon, go to johnhancock.com.